Hello student, very good morning to all of you. Do you remember what were we discussing yesterday? I think we were discussing about the isomers of glucose or aldohexose, right? And according to as a Wond's of rule or according to as a Wond's of, there is a one formula that is 2 raised to n, where n is equal to number of chiral centers. And as we know that chiral center means what? The carbon atom carries 4 different groups is known as chiral center, or the alternative name of that chiral center is asymmetric carbon atom. An asymmetric carbon atom, depending upon that chiral center, 2 raised to n, if you see, if you observe the structure of glucose or aldohexose, there are 4 chiral center. So 2 raised to 4 is equal to 16. So 16 different isomers, optical isomers we are getting. An optical isomer means what? The organic compound which shows optical rotation, means the compound which can rotate the plane of polarization either right hand side or left hand side, that is known as a optical rotation. And before that we already learned that D and the L configuration. D and L are the relative configuration. They are depending upon the hydroxy group. So first of all, write the carbohydrates according to as a Fischer projection formula and observe that structure carefully. If the hydroxy group are present on the right hand side, that configuration is termed as D configuration. And L, capital L means what? When the hydroxy group are on the left hand side, that is known as a L configuration. So let us see, I think we already seen that one, CHO, then this carbon atom OH, and here hydrogen atom, then CH2OH. This is the simplest and the reference compound which we are considering while studying as a carbohydrate. This is a reference compound. The name of this compound is a D plus glyceraldehyde. D plus glyceraldehyde. So this is the reference compound, and as we know, if you observe this structure carefully, there is a one carbon atom, carbon number 2 over here, which is shown by articks, means this is the chiral carbon atom, and I am putting here as a mirror. We already seen, but let us revise that thing over here. This is a mirror. When you put as a mirror over here, why this D configuration is written over here? Because if you look at this structure here, OH is on the right hand side, and therefore it is designated as a D. Here is a plus is written over there. So don't get confused over here. Plus, or sometime it is referred as a small d. Small d and small a, they are the experimental quantities. They do not depend upon that relative configuration. Here the D may have plus or minus. Suppose if it is oxidized, let us see here. Let us see, suppose is oxidation takes place over here. What is going to happen after the oxidation? Most oxidizable group in that carbohydrate is a aldehyde. So it is going to convert into as a carboxylic group. So you will get here COOH, then look at here OH remains over here, then H, then here this is CH2 and OH. The chiral center, no bond is breaking at a chiral center, it remains as it is. And hydroxy group, if you observe this structure again carefully, the name of this compound is a glyceric acid. Now here is a carboxylic group, so this is a glyceric acid. What type of the glyceric acid? It is a D-glyceric acid, and if you determine, if you measure its optical activity, it is found to be minus. Remember this D, here is a minus, here is a plus, because these plus are sometime it is referred or it is denoted by small l. Capital L and small l, they are the different one. D and capital D and capital L are the relative configuration, means the description of the four different groups attached to the chiral center, or the description of the arrangement of the atom in a space attached to four different groups is known as relative configuration. These D and small l are the capital D and capital L are the relative configuration, whereas this is related to as a dextrorotatory and the levorotatory. Dextrorotatory means that organic compound here specifically that rotate the plane of polarization to the right hand side. Therefore, the symbol is a plus, or we can denote by D, means dextrorotatory, and here minus means this is a levorotatory, means the plane of polarization. This compound glyceric acid rotate the plane of polarization to the left hand side, and therefore it is known as a levorotatory. These are the experimental quantities. Don't mix these two terms to each other. Capital D, capital L, they are the relative configuration, whereas small d and small l are the optical rotation, that is depending upon the what kind of the rotation they are. Means D relative configuration may have small d plus or minus or L. So please remember this. And now there we know that in a glucose there are the four chiral center. So according to as a Wandt-Zoff rule, 2 raised to n is equal to number of isomers, where n is a number of chiral center. If you put the value of n in a Wandt-Zoff equation, what do you get? 2 raised to 4 is equal to 16 isomer, and out of that 16 isomer, glucose is a one of the optical isomer. 16 different optical isomers over there, and 8 are from D series and 8 from the L series. And D means that relative configuration that is determined, that is measured on the basis of the carbon number is a lowest chiral carbon, the compound which is written according to as a Fischer projection formula. And as we know that there are the certain rule for writing as a Fischer projection formula. More oxidizable compound is generally the compound is written vertically. When we are writing as a carbohydrate vertically, most oxidizable group always kept on the top, and those are vertical group, they are projecting above the those are present horizontally, they are projecting above the plane, means they are coming above the plane, and those are present vertically, they are shown by the dotted line. So this is the general guideline while writing as a carbohydrate on the basis of the Fischer projection formula, and glucose containing as aldehyde, so we are keeping it on the top, and if you number these carbon atoms starting from the most oxidizable compound, aldehyde always get number 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, there are the 6 carbon atoms. In the, we know that the molecular formula of glucose is a C6H12O6. So at a carbon number 1 aldehyde group always, and 2, 3, 4, 5. At 5, if you observe this hydroxy group, this is the lowest chiral center at C5. So on the basis of that, D and L configuration is assigned or is determined, because when OH group at that C5 position, C5 carbon atom, if it is present on the right hand side, then it is known as a D-glucose. Suppose it is present at left hand side, then and then we can designate or we can assign it as a L configuration. These are the relative configuration. So all these things we have discussed in our previous case, that are the optical isomers, and there we are from this we are learning some of the word like as a enantiomer. What do you mean by the enantiomer? As we know that enantiomer means what? They are non-superimposable mirror images of each other, is known as a enantiomer. For example, in case of the glyceraldehydes are there, if you put as a mirror over there, what do you see? It's mirror image. Both are the identical, everything is the same. Their physical properties as well as chemical properties, everything is same or the identical. Look at our two hands, they are the identical, means this is the best example of enantiomers. They are non-superimposable mirror images of each other, are known as the enantiomers, and they are having physical properties as well as chemical properties are the same, only they differ in their rotation. One rotate the plane of polarization right hand side, and another rotate the plane of polarization to the left hand side. That is only the difference between that enantiomer. So we cannot separate. These enantiomers are very difficult to separate from each other, because their properties, physical properties as well as chemical properties are very similar one, identical one, and therefore they are the non-resolvable, we can say here. And now the another term generally we are using is called as a diastereomers. And so I think up to the enantiomers we have learned over there. Now let us look at as a diastereomers. Now diastereomers means what? Enantiomers just now we have seen. First one is enantiomer, means optical isomers are non-superimposable mirror images, are known as a enantiomers. Their physical property as well as chemical property are same. They differ in their rotation. Optical rotation are known as a enantiomers, and that. And a second term we are going to learn over here, that is a diastereomers. Diastereomers. So what do you mean by the diastereomers over here? And now the diastereomer means what? The optical isomers which are not mirror images of each other are called as a diastereomer. This is the simplest thing. This is the simplest definition of the diastereomer. In enantiomer just now we have seen in first case, enantiomer means what? The optical isomers, non-superimposable mirror images of each other are called as a enantiomers, and diastereomer means what? The optical isomers which are not mirror images of each other is known as a if they are not mirror images of each other, how they can show as identical properties? Means their physical properties as well as chemical properties are different in diastereomer, because they are not the mirror images of each other, and therefore their physical properties are also different, such as melting point, boiling point, refractive indexes, then what we can call it, the physical properties as well as chemical properties are different, hence it is easier to separate them. So it is resolvable. In other words, in that what we can call it as a more specific word is suitable for here for separable, means they are the resolvable, because they are not mirror images of each other. Their meeting point as well as boiling point are largely differ from each other, and therefore on the basis of that their physical properties are also different, their chemical properties are also different, and therefore it is very easy to separate the diastereomers from each other. So for example, there we have seen there are the 16 isomers of that glucose, and there are some of the diastereomers. And then next word we are going to use, that is very important one, which is epimers. So third term we are going to learn here, epimers. So what do you mean by the again as a epimers? In isomers we know that, diastereomers just now we have seen, and now is the epimers. What do you mean by the epimers? With the help of some suitable example we are going to learn, I am trying to explain this word epimers means what. So what do you mean by the epimers? The optical isomers that differ in configuration at only one carbon atom are called as epimers, or the anomers of each other. Remember once again, epimer means what? The optical isomers that differ in configuration at only one carbon atom are called as epimers or anomers of each other. For example, D plus glucose is an epimer of D plus mannose because they differ in configuration at C2. Let us write here with the help of example we are going to explain, we are going to learn the epimers means what. You know that the structure of the D plus glucose, right? Now here D glucose, here I am writing CHO, and now 1, 2, 3 and 4, and at the bottom CH2OH, right? And here another structure I am writing over here. Now this is an example of epimers 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one is again is a CH2OH. Now two structure I have drawn here. These two structure you observe carefully, then once you observe this carefully, you can understood the meaning of epimers, or as well as its a definition. According to as a definition, the optical isomers that differ in configuration at only one carbon atom are called as epimers, means anomers of each other. So that is it. Now look at here, I am writing here D glucose, right? D glucose, and as we know that D glucose is the structure of D glucose, you are familiar, you are well known with the D glucose. Here OH, here hydrogen atom, OH, H, then here we are writing HO, H, and now here look at here H and the OH. This is the structure of D glucose. So here two hydroxy group adjacent to each other on the left hand side. Look at the numbering of, if you give the number of this carbon atom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. There are the 6 carbon atoms are there. As we know that the molecular formula C6, H12 and O6. This is the general molecular formula of glucose. This is a D glucose. We can call it as a D mannose here. D mannose. Now as we know that the structure. Now I am trying to explain D glucose and D mannose. They are epimers of each other. This is the first structure. You can call it as a second structure. They are epimers of each other. Epimers of each other. How they are ephemer according to as a definition? Look at here, carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and what they differ the configuration at C2. Look at here C2. Here number this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And as we know that relative configuration and the absolute configuration. Absolute configuration means what? The configuration, the arrangement of atoms around the chiral center according to as a in gold there is a sequence rules are there. The arrangement of four group attached to the chiral center in a space is known as a absolute configuration over here. And look at here at two position only I am changing, they are epimers of each other. Means if you see here, I already told you that in a glucose, if hydroxy group are on the right hand side, they have a R configuration, relative configuration R. Now here left, so it is S configuration, here right R configuration, and this one also has a R configuration, 2R, 3S, 4R, 5. Now here mannose means what? Everything is the same, they are differ at a C2 configuration. Now look at here, carbon number 1, carbon number 2, here is a R configuration. In a mannose it should be changed, that is a hydroxy group on the left hand side, hydrogen, and rest of the thing remains as it is, OH, OH, H and the H over here. What I did over here, look at, if you observe these two structure very closely, what do you see over here? Look at two position, here R configuration, this one has a S configuration, this one again S configuration, this one R configuration, this one again has a R configuration. Only they change at the C2. One has a R configuration, one has a S configuration. They are changed. Configuration is a change at C2 carbon atom, and therefore D-glucose and D-mannose, they are epimers of each other. Understood this word epimers means what? Again, according to as a definition, the optical isomers that differ in configuration at only one carbon atom are called as epimers of each other, and D-glucose is an epimer of D-mannose because they differ in configuration at C2. Look at here, one glucose has a R configuration at C2 position, whereas D-mannose has a S configuration at C2. So therefore what we can call it as a D-glucose and D-mannose are epimers of each other. And second example of that epimer, D-glucose and D-mannose or D-galactose, because they differ in configuration at C4. And as we know that D-glucose is here, once again now D-galactose. Galactose, the structure of galactose is this one. They are also as a epimers of each other. As we know that this is the structure of D-glucose, and their absolute configurations are written at every chiral center, because there are the 4 chiral center present in the D-glucose, and they are having the relative absolute configuration like this. Now here galactose, CHO 1, 2, 3, 4, and here we can write CH2OH. This is a D-galactose. This is the D-galactose. D-galactose. Now look at here again, they are here D-mannose and D-glucose. They are epimers of each other, and they differ in a configuration at C2 position. But here D-glucose and D-galactose, they differ at C4 configuration is a change. Now if you see other thing remains as it is here, HOH. Now here OH, H, Then here you can write HO, H, HO and H. Look at here, everything is the same over here. Here R configuration, this remains R, S configuration, that remains S, OH, but here change its it is a S configuration and this remains as R. They are changed at C4 1, 2, 3, 4 and they are changed at the C4 configuration, and therefore D-glucose and D-galactose are epimers of each other. These two are the suitable example or enough example, from that we can understood the term epimers. This is a new term introduced at MSc level. So, remember these epimers means what, and with the help of these two suitable example I have explained these terms very what we can call it as per as my this concept is clear to you. So, now let us move on to the next point. What is the next point we are going to learn over here, because we are discussing about the basics of the carbohydrates. So, today we have learned one of the important term, which is epimers, and we have taken two are the suitable example, from that we can understood the meaning of that epimers. So, I hope you understood this concept. Next concept we are going to learn the Fischer proof. Next point is the Fischer proof. Fischer proof. Fischer proof. This is the term which we are going to learn over there, the Fischer proof. From Fischer work 1902, chemists were able to write the projection and ball and stick formula for D and L glucose as follows. We already know that the structures of D glucose, like this here CHO, which is always written at the top 1, 2, 3, 4, and here we are writing as a CH2OH. So, on the basis of Fischer projection form OH, HH, now HO, H, here OH and this hydrogen atom. This is a structure of D glucose, D plus glucose, right? This is a D plus glucose, optical active compound it is. And now, ball stick formula, we are generally written ball or stick form 1, 2, 3 and 4 ball sticks are written, and in every ball we can show, we can represent carbon atom like this, and here CHO we can write, and here one of the hydrogen atom we can write like this here, and now they were joined to each other by these bonds like this, and here in the simply here we can write CH2 and OH, one hydrogen atom over here. Here we can write this one, sorry, here yes, here we can write here the OH group on the right hand side, hydrogen over here, HO over here, H, then here you can write OH here, H, and in this case we can write here OH, and here we can OH, you can show downward OH here, and here maybe as a hydrogen atom. This is a ball stick, and we can put here is a mirror over here, and you can see the these images in the mirror. So, we can write O, these 4 circles they are as it is, they joined by this type of the bonds. So, this hydroxy group will come on this side, this CH2 OH goes that side and this hydrogen atom that side, then all these carbon atom you can show like this. Then hydroxy group comes here, this hydrogen atom here, hydrogen atom will come here, hydroxy grows over there, here this hydroxy will come over here, hydrogen atom over here, and this CH2 will look like this CHO, and this one it can be shown like this CHO 1, 2, 3, 4, and here as usual this is a CH2, HO we can write there, here HO, hydrogen atom, now here OH, H, and here you can write HO and H. This is the simple representation of, these are the D series and these are the L series, because they are enantiomers of each other. Enantiomer, as we know that the optical isomers are they are which are non-superimposable mirror images of each other are known as epimers. Means the optical isomer which are non-superimposable mirror images of each other are known as enantiomers. They differ only in their rotation. One rotate the plane of polarization to right hand side, another rotate the plane of polarization to the left hand side, that is only as a change. Though Bayer's open chain formula for glucose as shown above, this is shown above, explain most of the reaction, but presence of free CHO, presence of this one free CHO group in glucose was found to be doubtful due to following observation. There are the certain observation that clearly indicate that whatever we have learned so far, we have considered aldehyde CHO as a free group, free functional group present in the carbohydrate, but that is not the case. It is in the doubtful that CHO group is not free at all, and there are some objections regarding that CHO group. Let us see their objection to the open chain structure of glucose. There are certain objections. Let us see what are those objections. Recorded or observation is given on the basis of following experiment. Let us see over here the objection to the open chain structure. Objections to open chain structure of glucose, glucose, right? So this is objection to open chain structure of glucose. Now they have recorded the first objection. What is that objection? Let us see here. First objection they recorded, they mention over here, glucose does not form bisulfite addition product with saturated solution of NaHSO3, that is NaHSO3, that is a sodium bisulfite. This is the reagent. When you treat that aldehyde with this reagent, the addition reaction takes place and they form the product as a bisulfite. But in this glucose, when glucose treated with sodium bisulfite, there is no addition reaction found. This is the first observation made by made by the scientists. So it means that the aldehyde group, it is not the open chain, it is not the free group present in the glucose, means this is the first objection, or what we can call it, the first doubt recorded or made by the scientists. So this is the first one. Now is the second objection to the open chain structure. So what is that? Glucose does not give pink color with Schiff's reagent, or it does not form aldehyde ammonia derivatives on treatment with ammonia. So second objection, what they recorded or what they mentioned, second objection, when any aldehyde, as we know that the general formula of aldehyde RCHO, when it is a free CHO group, when it is treated with Schiff's reagent, Schiff reagent is the reagent used to test for the presence of aldehyde group in a unknown compound. When this Schiff's reagent treated with that glucose, there is no pink color observed. So it means that the aldehyde group is not free in the glucose or in the carbohydrate, or what we can call it in the glucose normally. And second thing, whenever there is aldehyde group, free aldehyde group present, so it can react with the ammonia and it form as a imine type of the derivative. So glucose does not get reacted with that ammonia. It is another objection, another observation recorded. It means that the CHO group is not the free in a glucose. So that open chain structure of glucose, this is the another objection recorded or made over there. Now is the third one, third objection to the open chain structure of glucose. What is that? Now penta-acetyl glucose does not react with hydroxylamine. As we know that when you treat with the aldehyde, any aldehyde, when it is treated with phenylhydrazine, you know that phenylhydrazine pH, NH and the NH2, that form as a phenylhydrazone as a derivative. That is the characteristic of that aldehyde. Within a fraction of second they get reacted and you will get as a colored compound, and therefore when that glucose and glucose, if you remember the reaction of the glucose, when glucose treated with acetic anhydride, there we are getting as a penta-acetyl derivatives of that glucose, penta-acetyl derivatives of glucose, and once it is a form, it is white in color, that derivative sharp melting point. When that derivative further treated with this type of the what we can call it as a phenylhydrazine, phenylhydrazine or hydroxylamine, hydroxylamine, that is a HO and NH2. This is the hydroxylamine. It does not form as a oxime derivative. That is the, and when it is treated with the aldehyde, it form as a oxime derivative, but that is not get reacted with the penta-acetyl glucose, and therefore it is a what we can call it objection to the open chain structure of the glucose. This is the third objection mentioned or recorded over there. Now is the fourth objection. Now let us look at the fourth objection to open chain structure of glucose. What is that? This is generally aldehyde react with 2 moles of alcohol and form acetal derivative, but glucose react with only 1 mole of methanol to form hemiacetal, giving 2 isomeric methyl glucosides. So this is the fourth one. generally aldehyde when reacted with the any alcohol, they form as a acetal derivatives. And as we know that suppose if you consider the glucose having free aldehyde group, it should react with the 2 mole of the alcohol and form as a semi-acetal, but instead of reacting with that 2 mole, it does not react with the 2 moles of alcohol, it does not require 2 moles of the alcohol, instead it required only 1 moles of ethanol or 1 moles of alcohol to form as a hemiacetal. That clearly indicate that the aldehyde group which is not in the free, it is something else. So, that is the objection made by those or recorded by those, mentioned by those scientists. Now is the fifth one and the last one, objection. Objection to the open chain structure of glucose is that glucose exhibit the phenomenon of mutarotation, which is a characteristic of a ring compound. Glucose exhibit the phenomenon of mutarotation, which is a characteristic of a ring compound. Look at this, is a very important objection recorded toward the glucose mutarotation. What do you mean by the mutarotation? It is one of the property of the ring compound. The spontaneous change in specific rotation of an optically active solution without any change in other properties is known as a mutarotation, and mutarotation is one of the what we can call it as a physical property is of that ring compound. So, that is one of the and then anomers. What do you mean by again as an anomer? So, that is another word which we are going to learn over here. So, that anomer, there are 2 isomeric form of D-glucose, because this cyclic structure and anomer and the other rest of the thing we will see in the next lecture. I think whatever we have since today is a important one, that is what is that epimers. With the help of some example I have explained that term. Another one is what are the objection regarding that free CHO, by giving us some of the example I have explained that one also, and now remaining we will see in the next lecture, tomorrow's lecture. Let us stop today here. Have a nice day. Thank you.